for 10 years, Surprise Stadium has been the spring home of both the Texas Rangers and the Kansas City Royals. And tonight, they go head-to-head. The Rangers will be the visitors as they go for their first three-game win streak of the 2012 Cactus League. And welcome, Dave Barnett, along with Tom Grieve. The Rangers' bats have been thunderous in the last two games, winning 12-2 over Cincinnati, 10-9 over San Diego, and something that obviously they want to carry over into the regular year.
Sure, and I think everybody feels very confident that they will. One thing about this team that you know, they've got proven hitters, 6 or 7 all-stars in the lineup. They're going to score runs. But still, there are some people who would say, last week of spring training, we want to see some results. We want to see the bats get hot. Well, the last couple of days, they've done just that. Mike Napoli hit a couple of home runs the other day. Ian Kinsler hit his 4th home run. Michael Young's been hot the whole time, and the numbers are looking much better.
17 homers in the last 17 games. Derek Holland will get the start, and he'll hope to be the beneficiary of similar offensive output tonight. Holland against Luke Hochaver. Good pitching matchup, and we're underway with the lineups in the first pitch when we return to Surprise. On TEX AT KCA is brought to you by Heady Ball Game. Rangers baseball on TEX AT KCA is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By TXU Energy, the right things right now. Call 866-CALL-TXU today. And by InsuranceDepot.com. Get a car insurance quote in 5 seconds at InsuranceDepot.com. Purple Mountain's Majesty here in the Valley of the Sun. That is Yu Darvish. He will get a start on Friday night. The Rangers take on the Colorado Rockies, and we will have that game for you here on TEX AT KCA. A 9 o'clock start. We're also with you tomorrow at 8 for the Rangers' home game here in Surprise against San Francisco. That'll be Matt Harrison against Matt Cain. Rangers trying to keep a little momentum going. The record is not what they're here for. They're 8-16-1. But they are starting to play better, putting all the phases together the last couple of nights. And here's the batting order for the visitors. Ian Kinsler to be followed by Craig Gentry. Batting second in center field. Michael Young is at first base. Adrian Beltre hits cleanup and plays third with Nelson Cruz in right. Mike Napoli, the DH. David Murphy in left. Yorvit Torrealba behind the plate. And Alberto Gonzalez will get the start at shortstop, and he will bat ninth. Elvis Andrus left after just a couple of innings last night. He had tightness in his right hip flexor. Says if this were a regular season game, he would play. He will be reevaluated tomorrow. And Luke Hochaver, having an outstanding spring, gets the start tonight for Kansas City.
Yeah, Hochaver was the first pick in the draft a while back. He's trying to come into his own as a big league pitcher. He had a decent season last year. He was 11 and 11, but he had a 4.68 ERA in his career. He's 30 and 43. He's played almost 4 years in the big leagues now, and his ERA overall is 5.29. Throwing the ball great so far in spring training, and I'm sure the Royals would like to see him drop that ERA and become a top of the rotation guy. He's got the talent to do it, just a matter of gaining the consistency and making it happen.
15 strikeouts against 1 walk in 4 starts and 14 innings. And he starts Ian Kinsler with a strike. Ian has that average up because of that tear the last 9 games, 16 for his last 31. He's had multi-hit games, 6 of his last 9. And that one outside for a ball. Home plate umpire is Jordan Baker. On the bases, Todd Titchener, Angel Campos, and Toby Basner on a beautiful 82-degree Wednesday evening. For most schools, spring break is over, so the attendance has dropped a little bit this week. Entertaining games, though, for those who come out to Surprise Stadium. That one just catches the knees outside corner, and it's 2-2. Ian with 4 homers, tied for 3rd in the Cactus League. And he couldn't let up on that one. And he's the first out of the game.
Yeah, you don't see Ian swing like that very much, but that was a really good slider from Hochaver. He'd thrown a 94-mile-an-hour sinker on the outside corner to get strike 2, and then he started the slider in the same place. It broke down and away and slightly out of the strike zone, and he got Ian to go after it. That was a very nice pitch by Hochaver.
So here's Craig Gentry getting the start in center and batting in Elvis Andrews' spot. Hochaver starts him with a strike. Craig at 120 and a 1 run batted in. And Michael Young will be next. Hochaver, as Tom said, first overall pick in the draft. 2006 out of the University of Tennessee. The Volunteers' only #1 overall pick. Drafted twice by the Dodgers, didn't sign, and it worked out for him to wait. And to head up his draft year, and he's got back-to-back strikeouts to begin the Ranger first.
He's throwing the ball hard. He's got good movement on it, and he's got good location. He's got all the ingredients that would lead you to get the first 2 strikeouts of the ball game like that.
Royals have just waited for him to put it all together. First 3 seasons, he was 0-1, 6-12, and 7-13. Big swing and a miss by Michael Young. The last 2 years improved, but still .500, 11-11, and 6-6. 2010 limited to just 18 games because of a sprained right elbow. He is a strike throwing machine here in the first inning. .421 average for Michael. If he had enough at bats to qualify, would be 5th in the Cactus League. .95 miles an hour, and Young watches it go outside 1-2. Third and final meeting between these two in the spring. Ron Washington and Ned Yost. Both big fans of this facility built by Surprise. Opened up 10 years ago. And it's 2-2. Bills won back-to-back, 6-1 and 7-6, March 4th and 5th. Second game, a walk-off victory for Kansas City. And did Young hold up? He did. And from 0-2, he works the count full.
That was the same pitch that he got Ian to swing at, that hard slider down and away. Michael starts a swing but stopped it in time.
So he strikes him out swinging at 3-2. And Luke Hochevar strikes out the side. He now has 18 strikeouts against 1 walk in Cactus League play. In the first for the Rangers, now the Kansas City Royals will go to work. They are 6th in the Cactus League, a record of 14-11. And they will lead things off with their left fielder, Alex Gordon. He'll be followed by former Astro, Jason Bourgeois in right field. Eric Hosbert tearing up things out here in Arizona, batting in the 3-hole playing first. The DH is Billy Butler. Lorenzo Cain is in center field and batting 5th with Yuniesky Betancourt at short. Mike Moustakas at 3rd. Brian Pena will be the catcher, and second baseman Chris Getz bats 9th against Derek Holland.
Derek's having a good spring in his big league games that he's pitched. Hasn't walked a batter, no walks in 9 innings. Good opponent's batting average. Not a surprise the way Derek pitched the last half of the season last year. Exactly what you'd expect him to be doing in spring training.
34 batters faced, no walks. The opponents are 7 for 33 against Derek Holland. And this chopper tackled by Kinsler. Didn't waste any time with Alex Gordon. Good speed and beating it down the line to first. Alex Gordon hitting .426 in the spring.
Yeah, Gordon has the potential to be a tremendous leadoff hitter because he brings the same things to the party that Ian Kinsler brings. He gets on base a lot. He runs well. And he's got some power, too.
Strike one to Jason Bourgeois. Former Ranger draft pick, second round in 2000 out of Forest Brook High School. He was born in Houston. Signed with the Rangers rather than playing at Arizona State. Dad used to work the ticket booth at the Astrodome. Trying to stick in the majors. This is his 13th pro season, never up for very long. The 2-1 pitch is chopped and dug out at first, but Young not able to hang on to it. Might have had a little bit of a spike too.
Yeah, the throw was into the runner. You'd love as a first baseman to have that ball on the second base side of first base so you don't have to reach into the runner. The throw was low It was into the runner. And when Bourgeois came by, it looked like he stepped on Michael's glove. Great try by Michael. It would have been a tremendous play if he was able to catch that and get the out at first base. Holland knew he had to get the throw there quickly. He had to rush it to get it there, and just a little bit off target.
Well, that last angle just perfectly showing how the ball and the feet arrived right on top of that mitt at the same instant. So Michael's okay. Bourgeois at first. Good speed over there. And the thunderous bat of Eric Hosmer will be next. And right away, Bourgeois testing the arm of Jorvit Torrealba on an easy stolen base.
Well, that's one of the things that he brings to the party. Maybe the main thing that Jason brings to the party is he can really run. Play a lot of different positions. He's got excellent speed, and he's a good base stealer.
That is number 6 for Bourgeois this spring. Gets himself into scoring position for Hosmer, who has driven in 22 runs. Royals have some of the top hitters in baseball. Two of the top 3 hitters in spring ball. Lorenzo Cain is leading at 431. No one's hitting higher than that. Alex Gordon's 426 is third. Those two plus Hosmer are in the top 3 in hits. And that one slugged to left field, a base hit. Hit so hard that they have to hold Bourgeois at third base. Doug Sisson, coaching third, put up the brakes because that got out to David Murphy in the blink of an eye. And even with Bourgeois' speed, no way was he going to make it all the way from second base.
Hosmer's only 22 years old. As a 21-year-old last year, he had an excellent big league season. He hit 293, almost hit 20 home runs, knocked in 80 runs. Having a big spring. And if you're a fantasy league baseball player and you draft people and keep them, he'd be right at the top of your board if you're looking for an offensive player.
This Royals minor league system, many people think, is as stacked as any in either league, as Hosmer takes off and gets second without a throw. So the Royals showing some aggressiveness here. An infield hit and a steal by Bourgeois. A line drive hit and a stolen base for Hosmer. Which was a strike to Billy Butler. And Torrealba looking Bourgeois back to the bag at third. It's 0-2. Butler hitting 373s. Hit it out 3 times. 10 runs batted in. Another high, former #1 draft pick, 14th overall his year in 2004. Butler out of Wolfson High School, Jacksonville, Florida, where his teammate Eric Hurley, the former Ranger, was the 30th overall pick in that same draft by the Rangers. It's the 5th set of high school teammates ever chosen in the first round of the same draft. Michael Young will take the out at first base. Jason Bourgeois will take home and give Kansas City a 1-0 lead. And Billy Butler drives in his 11th run.
When you look at the American League statistics, that's a good pitch by Holland. Kind of jammed him with that pitch. The Royals have 4 of the 5 leading hitters in the league as far as most hits go. Gordon, Cain, Hosmer, Butler, all in the top 5. So they've been swinging the bats this spring. They haven't scored an exceptional amount of runs. They've been getting an exceptional amount of hits.
Cain goes after the first pitch, a breaking ball. Top batting average in the major leagues this spring, right there, 431. 22 base hits, one less than the leader, Gordon. Just inside with that one. He leads the American League in doubles with 9. Leads in total bases, 14 runs scored, and fourth in on base percentage, better than 470. Holland missing inside again. 2 balls and a strike. Lorenzo Cain came over from Milwaukee. It's a big piece of the Zach Greinke trade, December of 2010. That year he had made his major league debut, got into 43 games with the Brewers. And he drives that one high and deep to center field. Gentry looks up. It is way out of here. Home run number 5 for Lorenzo Cain. And it's 3-0 Royals.
Cain was a big acquisition in a trade a couple of years ago. And he went to AAA last year and had a big year. Got called up at the end of the season, and they're counting on Cain to do big things for him this year. He took a big swing at that pitch. Some kind of follow through. Launched it about 80% of the way up on the hill in center field.
Strike 1 to Betancourt. That is a blast up there. He almost hit it in that top row of flowers. So beautifully decorated. Seldom does a ball land that far out. Betancourt's chopper handled by Gonzalez to end the Kansas City first, but they get 3 runs, 3 base hits, the blast by Cain, and they lead after 1, 3-0. This during March only. Upper reserve tickets are available for just $10.33 to 21 select games this season. Compliments of 103.3 ESPN Radio and TXA 21. Games against Seattle, April 10th through the 12th are included. Get your opening week tickets by March 31st at TexasRangers.com/madness. Adrian Beltre to lead off the Rangers second. They trailed the Royals and Luke Hochevar 3-0. Hochevar in that first inning threw 14 pitches, 9 were strikes, and that's how he starts Beltre. Adrian coming off back-to-back 2-hit games. The Ranger RBI leader, although still looking for his first home run out here. Nelson Cruz will be next, and then the DH Mike Napoli. Hochevar struck out the side in the first, 2 swinging, 1 looking. And here's a ball in play, but skied out to Gordon. Easy play for him in left field.
Well, you look at Hochevar. He was the first pick in the draft. Got to the big leagues relatively quick, which you would expect from a 22-year-old college pitcher. But he hasn't put it together yet. He's 28 years old. And when you saw the first inning, you see the kind of stuff he's got. I think Kansas City expects him this year to be much more consistent. They need a top-of-the-rotation guy. Hochevar's a veteran now. He's had almost 4 years in the big leagues. And I'm sure in Kansas City's mind, they feel it's time for him to go out and to develop and to get the job done as a top-of-the-rotation guy. He's 28 years old. You look at the Rangers staff. You've got Harrison's 26, Holland's 25, Darvish is 25, Felice is 23. And some of them have almost the same kind of experience that Hochevar has as far as big league time goes. But Holland and Harrison both did put it together last year as 24 and 23-year-olds.
On the ground to the shortstop, and Yuniesky Betancourt throws out Cruz for out number 2.
I think the feeling with the Royals is very few teams have a better group of young position players than Kansas City has. But as the Rangers know all too well, you don't finally win until you put together a pitching staff. And as good as the Rangers offense was last year, the last 2 years don't happen if it's not for good pitching. The Rangers starting pitching was really good last year. That's what Kansas City needs to become a contender. They have a hard time in the immediate future with the Tigers in the position they're in. It's going to be tough for them to catch the Tigers.
Well, they can make it interesting. They can learn how to be competitive for a whole year. They were 71 and 91 last year.
Yeah,
those first full
you're right.
season.
They should be better than that. They've got a good young team, and you can go from 71 and 91 to over 500. I think they may not say that, but I think they'd be disappointed if they didn't approach 500 or a little bit better than that this year.
See what Napoli can do here with a 2-0 pitch. He wisely holds up on that high fastball, and it's 3-0.
And Napoli's already walked 10 times in spring training. One of his strengths, patience.
320 average, right where he ended last year. His first for the Rangers, and he'll take a 4-pitch walk. Only the second issued in almost 16 innings of work this spring by Hochevar. The Rangers get their first base runner with 2 outs in the second. So Hochevar counted on for a breakthrough year. From the looks of things, Luis Mendoza may be ready to have one. He is 4-0 with the best spring ERA of anyone in the American League. It's 0.54.
The Rangers saw glimpses of that from Mendoza, but it was never, I don't think he had, when he was young, the makeup to put it all together. But maybe he's developed that with experience, with maturity. Certainly always had the stuff.
0-1 pitch driven high and deep by Murphy. And David Murphy headed to third as Kane's throw is cut off. An RBI triple for Murphy to get the Rangers on the board. Now they're saying it was a home run.
I thought it was too. I thought I saw it hit the grass.
Kane grabbed it, fired it in as if they thought they would have a play at third. Ned Yost is going to get an explanation here.
Probably don't have replay in spring training, do we?
I don't think so.
I think that one's going to stand.
You're welcome to come up here and watch it with us. I don't think they want to slow the game down quite that much. So, home run it is.
It's hard to see all the way out there, but I thought I saw the ball hit something green. Of course, the wall's green, too.
Well,
I think all they could do is get together as a conference and see if anyone saw it differently. Obviously, they're not going to be able to look at any replay of it.
You gauge a play like that on the reaction of the outfielders, and they are saying no, it's a triple, no home run.
Well, one of the other umpires, must have had a good view of it and overruled the original call.
You would not want to be on this end of a discussion with Ron Washington very often.
Not in the regular season.
No,
anyway.
you would not.
But in the regular season, they'd look at replay. You wouldn't have to worry about any controversy. Well, that definitely hit something and bounced. It must have hit the top of the wall. It looks like it hits the grass behind it, though.
Or what's the railing?
Up top of the railing.
Top of the rail.
Yep, good call by the umpire. Missed a home run by about an inch. Of course, if the ball hits the grass, it's not going to bounce straight up in the air like that. And that looks like grass right there, but it hits the top of the wall.
So it wasn't a deke carried out by Kane. He actually was reacting as he should on a ball in play. That's exactly what it was. Doesn't cost the Rangers a run because Murphy scores on the single by Torrealba, and now it's 3-2.
I think what you see in the second inning is really a microcosm of what has been Hochevar's career so far. First inning, you can't throw the ball any better than he did. He mowed down 3 hitters with 3 strikeouts with impeccable stuff and great command. Comes back out for the second inning, and it hasn't been quite the same command. He walked Napoli with 2 outs, grooved one to Murphy. Torrealba had a hit. The ball that Beltre popped up to left field was one right on the good part of the bat that he just missed. So in just 2 innings, you see the same kind of consistency that's plagued Hochevar's career.
So Alberto Gonzalez, and he slams one into right field. That is a base hit, taken on one hop by Bourgeois, who does not have much of an arm at all. So Torrealba easily takes third. The Rangers' third straight hit.
See, now that's the same slider that he struck out Ian Kinsler with. Only this one stays up, doesn't break quite as sharply, and catches the plate. The ones in the first inning were sharper, they were down, and they were slightly off the plate. Not the same stuff this inning as he had in the first inning.
And it's only a spring game, but it's still surprising to see the Royals playing Bourgeois in right field. He has a minus arm in the scouts lingo, and some say he barely has enough arm to play second base.
Well, he came up as an infielder, so he's not an outfielder, but I think what they're trying to do is find the kind of guy that can play a number of positions. When you only have 4 extra men, a guy like Jason, who can really run, brings something else to the party. And they're not going to ask him to be a regular outfielder. They got Jeff Francoeur to play right field. But on certain days, if he can pinch run and stay in the game, or maybe spell an outfielder, his arm won't come into play like it would as a regular. But he can also play in the infield. And with his speed, he could be kind of a Craig Gentry kind of guy for them. Not going to be a regular for him, but if he makes the team, he could still have some value.
Medios pitching coach Dave Island had not a whole lot to say to Hochevar. Kinsler waiting for the 1-0 pitch. He struck out to begin the game. And pops this one high in the air. Not that deep into right field. And Bourgeois makes the catch. But the Rangers, after 2 were out, come up with 2 runs on 3 base hits and 2 left. Rangers baseball on TX 821 is brought to you by Sonic. It's new, it's better, it's the new Sonic Good. And by TrophyNissan.com. Fun all over Surprise Stadium. Take a break. Get on the merry-go-round.
Have you tried the merry-go-round yet?
You know that little sign they always have that he holds out his hand, and if you are too big for this ride, don't even think about it.
Well, you gave it a try, though, right?
I argued my case for about 10 minutes.
Kicked you off it?
I was not setting a good example for the other youngsters.
We used to have a merry-go-round just like that out near the lake in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, when I was a little boy, and one of the biggest enjoyments we had as kids was when our parents would take us to that merry-go-round, and we got to ride on it. Maybe for old time's sake, before the stadium opened, to talk that guy into letting me ride on that.
Merry-go-round out here gets a good workout every game. 0-2 pitch, and Moustakas is the first strikeout victim of Derek Holland to begin the second.
Yeah, that's a little better for Derek. Start the inning with a strikeout. Royals roughed him up a little bit, especially Hosmer and Kane. Bourgeois got an infield hit, but Hosmer roped one to left field on the line, and Kane launched a towering home run to center field with a huge swing, too.
So here is Brian Pena, the catcher, and he takes a breaking ball for strike one. And yep, excellent spring coming off his career year last year.
We were talking about Kansas City and the fact that they have a very bright future and a good group of young position players. To give you an example of where they were drafted, Alex Gordon was the second pick in the draft. Hosmer was the third pick in the draft. Moustakas was the second pick in the draft. Butler was the 14th pick in the draft. Christian Colon, who will come in later on in the game, was the fourth pick in the draft. And Hochevar was the first pick in the draft. So it's a good example of a team that's finishing in the bottom year after year, getting high draft picks. But the bottom line is making the most out of those picks. You'll find a lot of teams, Pittsburgh's one of them, who picked high for year after year after year and never did anything because they didn't draft very well. I think if you look at Kansas City right now, they're in a similar situation where Tampa Bay was maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Tampa Bay had all those high picks, and they got B.J. Upton and Evan Longoria and David Price.
Tough play for Kinsler. He stumbles and can't make a throw. So Pena aboard on an infield hit.
I bet you Adrian Beltre's smiling right now. I might be wrong. Players, yeah, he's smiling. He's turning his back to you. I knew he would be. And all Ian's thinking right now is, oh, man, now I got to listen to these guys. Now I've got to listen to that. Why did I have to trip?
And Holland almost comes up with this.
He did.
Almost never even got to Ian.
He was behind him a little bit. Ian fields it. And then, I don't know what he tripped over, but he's going to have to probably watch that 5 or 6 times either after the game or tomorrow.
He was smiling at Adrian before Adrian was smiling back at him.
Here we go.
Self-tackleization out there at second base.
That's baseball humor. You have to expect it.
Here's the Royals second baseman, Chris Getz.
You know, though, if you don't take a little grief for that kind of play, then you haven't really fit in well with your ball club. That's just part of the game, and everybody understands it.
If your teammates
when they stop doing that, then you have to worry.
Yeah, if your teammates don't feel comfortable enough with you to have some fun.
Yeah, then you've got bigger problems.
Well, maybe Ian can be part of a double play here. Slow chopper, and Young will take the only out available. Tagging Getz, and with 2 outs now, Pena in scoring position for the top of the order, Alex Gordon.
And the other side of it is when you're an all-star player, you hit 30 home runs, steal 30 bases a couple of different times, you can take a little grief over a little bit of a misstep like that. It's funny.
He's still smiling about it.
He's still laughing because I bet you people are yelling at him from the outfield. Nelly Cruz is probably yelling at him from right field.
Well, Ian being a
in the first inning when he was trying to establish his fastball, but he got a couple of them up and out over the plate, and they jumped on him. This inning, he's come out and said, okay, if I'm going to get my fastball up, I better start with some breaking balls, and that's what he's done to Gordon to get ahead 0-2.
You give him another one?
I think you could 0-2, but you'd probably want to make it outside the strike zone to see if you can get Gordon to chase it. Can't go wrong with that. Pitchers might say, well, I'll bust him off the plate and then come back with a curveball. But he came back with a slider. Got Gordon to just foul it off.
Alex Gordon, the baseball pride and joy of the state of Nebraska.
Kansas City has drafted well. They've also made a good trade, kind of a Ranger type trade that they made for Mark Teixeira. This one was for Zach Greinke. For Zach Greinke, they got Lorenzo Cain, who, based on what we've seen today, he can fly, he's a center fielder, and he's got power. Looks like he has potential to be a terrific player. Alcides Escobar is one of the best defensive shortstops in the league. They got him in that trade. And Jeremy Jeffress can be a solid late inning bullpen guy. And they got a starting pitcher, Odorizzi, I think you pronounce his name, who could be a starting pitcher. That trade could end up for Kansas City, much like the trade that the Rangers made with Atlanta for Mark Teixeira, that brought in all the good players that have certainly helped build the Ranger franchise.
If they have half the good luck that the Rangers had with that deal, then you
They'll
think
really,
they're going to at least contend in the next few years.
They'll be really happy. They've done it. You have to get the draft choices, otherwise Gordon, Hosmer, Kane, Moustakas, Butler, they won't be there if you don't have the high pick. But you still have to maximize the draft by making good selections. Ned Yost, the manager, has to feel really good about the direction of the team. Got to be exciting to have that kind of group of young players.
Ryan Pena leading off second, 2 outs and a 2-2 pitch on the way from Derek Holland. And after getting out in front 0-2, a couple of good breaking balls, now the count runs full with Jason Bourgeois on deck, hoping to keep this second inning going. Gordon, the Royals MVP last year. Gold Glove in his first full season in the outfield, a converted third baseman. And a big bat thundering this spring. Broken bat. Rolls right to Gonzalez for out number 3.
That's the second time in a couple of days we've seen a bat helicopter right toward the pitcher. Dangerous stuff.
No runs to hit. A man left and many grins with the Royals second. Mother's Day with this pink Ranger shirt, brought to you by J.C. Penney. The first 25,000 fans ages 14 and up will take one home on May 13th. That's a 7:05 start. The Rangers taking on the Angels. JCPenney Mother's Day t-shirt. Good look from the outfield berm here at Surprise Stadium. 45 minutes or so to the northwest of Phoenix. And the two Tenants going head to head here for the third and final time this spring. The Royals leading 3-2. Gentry, Young, and Beltre against Luke Hochaber here in the top of the third. Gentry struck out looking on 3 pitches his first time up.
Yeah, it's nice to see Craig smiling, looking good, and playing. He's had an unfortunate spring with injuries, and then he was sick for a couple of days. Good to see him back and feeling good.
That one hit well down the left field line and foul. That would have been a really welcome home run. A little bit longer, a little bit to the right. He would have had it.
They said Craig had dehydration symptoms. Boy, just barely fouled by about 6 inches. And it turned out he had some type of a virus. He said he got a great night's sleep, woke up, felt great the other day, and it's good to have him back.
In his position, you just don't want to miss.
No, exactly.
Even one out.
No.
Battling for center field playing time with Julio Bourbon, who at some point will take over for Gentry tonight. Josh Hamilton's played a lot of center out here. Leonis Martin played a lot before he was sent to minor league camp. Rolled it to Betancourt at short. And a good look at Gentry's speed as Betancourt barely nips him at first.
Betancourt's got a strong arm. He needed every bit of it. Otherwise, Craig would have beaten that out. Funny, when Zach Greinke got traded to Milwaukee, Betancourt was traded with him. And so he played in Milwaukee, and now he's back with Kansas City, probably as a utility infielder, because Escobar has established himself as a good starting shortstop.
Michael Young fouls the first pitch. Chased by Hosmer. He almost makes a sensational over-the-shoulder catch.
Tough play for a first baseman, going straight back like that with your back to the plate. You know the stands and the wall is coming up. You're not exactly sure where it is. You're right. He almost made a nice play way down the line. Long way he went for that.
See if it deflects off his mid. It looks like it did. Right off the tip. Just a long strike for Michael Young. He struck out on a 3-2 pitch to end the first. Checks the swing on that one a little bit inside. 1-1. Lined over Betancourt. And the Rangers have their 4th base hit, and Michael never hesitating, taking second base. A 1-out double.
That's just some nice hitting by Michael right there. That was a 93-mile-an-hour sinker inside part of the plate to Michael. And he gets the good part of the bat on it, boy, and lines a shot into the gap in left center field. Some hard hit balls early in this game by both teams.
Gordon got to it as fast as he could. He's got a great arm out there. He led the majors with 20 outfield assists his first year playing left. Still no chance to get Michael. That one slicing, but stays fair. And Young will come home to tie it at 3 on a double by Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, Gordon, as a matter of fact, was a Gold Glover out there. He went from the number 2 pick in the draft as a third baseman, and they changed him to an outfielder, left fielder. He won a Gold Glove. Of course, they've got Mike Moustakas, another very high draft pick, who is a third baseman and is playing third base for him right now. It's not always that easy to take an infielder, put him out in the outfield, and have him turn into that kind of a defensive player.
In a lot of parks, that shot by Beltre is a home run. Oh, and that one right under the chin of Nelson Cruz, or did it get him maybe? Jamie Reed, Ron Washington quickly out to his side. What a scary sight, even if it just glanced him with that kind of velocity coming at him. Well, it did apparently get him on his hand.
Well, we've talked about it quite a bit already, but the difference in Hochevar in the first inning when he was right on top of his game, and it's been anything but that after the first inning. Really struggling right now. I think that ball that Nelly hit would have gone right into the triangle down the right field line in our ballpark. Boy, that is scary. That is right at his face. Gets his face out of the way.
Left hand, I think, is where it deflects.
And then it deflected off his hand. Wow, that is scary stuff right there.
Well, after taking that dive, Cruz quickly to his feet. Good. He could smile about it as he arrives at first base. Of all the things you never want to see happen, especially in March. Get one of your superstars hurt. So, a run in. Still only one out. 2 on. And a swing and a miss by Napoli, who walked on 4 pitches in the second inning, is just the second man to walk all spring off of Hochevar.
Pretended CJ's face.
Missing away, a ball and a strike to Mike. Rangers with only their second 2-game winning streak of the spring. They have yet to win 3 straight. A chance to do so here. The runners are going, and that one fouled off near the merry-go-round. And it's 1-2. Merry-go-round on the base paths, and where that ball landed in foul territory. Napoli, then David Murphy. We've got the Rangers scoring started with an RBI triple in the second, almost a homer. Just missed away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Murphy's blast bouncing off the railing and straightaway center field at first. Ruled a homer, and then the umpires got together and decided correctly that it didn't quite get out of here. Napoli will sit down, out number 2. Strikeout number 4 for Hochevar. The first 3 were all in the first inning.
Hochevar had a game a couple of years ago against the Rangers where he struck out 13 batters. He threw the ball for the entire game, just like he did in the first inning that day. That was back at the end of July in 2009.
Let's see how he goes about trying to handle Murphy here. Right at the top of the strike zone, his first pitch. Beltre at second, Cruz at first. Oh, and 2. Close as you can come without actually getting a home run here at Surprise Stadium. Right off the railing at the 400 mark.
I think it was as close as you can come. I think another half an inch and it skips right into the grass.
Just inside. Had to be a tough pitch to lay off.
He's giving David all cutters. Trying to hit the inside corner with it and just missed.
1-2 pitch is fielded by Pena, who whirls and throws a strike to Hosmer to get David Murphy for out number 3. A run on a couple of back-to-back doubles in the Rangers' 3rd inning. I-Club at Rangers Ballpark overlooks center field, providing an unparalleled view from the lower level. This modern venue serves as a party suite for up to 120 guests. Individual, all-inclusive tickets are available for some games, including April 9th and 12th, and start at only $75. Visit TexasRangers.com/batterseye for details. There's some structure they've put together out in center field. Batter's Eye Club, Captain Morgan Club. We look forward to seeing him when we get back into town to start the regular year. A week from Friday against the Chicago White Sox. Here is Jason Bourgeois to lead off the bottom of the 3rd. Gentry over just a few steps for the out. Bourgeois had ignited their 3-run first on an infield single, stole second. And ended up scoring on a ground out by Billy Butler. That was followed by a Lorenzo Cain 2-run home run. But since then, Holland settling down nicely, allowing only another infield hit. This one by Brian Pena. And starts off ahead of Hosmer here. He singled and stole second. Derek nails down the outside edge, 0-2. Two pitchers, Tom, kind of reverse position.
Yeah,
Hochevar was untouchable in the 1st inning, and now Holland is.
Yeah. Derek really struggled, but he came back out. Made some adjustments, started to mix in his off-speed pitch a little bit more in the 2nd inning. It's just made his fastball that much more effective. Had a good fastball to jam Gordon for the last out.
Derek and the Rangers, of course, getting business taken care of a few days ago into a 5-year contract extension. Telling Derek in no uncertain terms what this franchise thinks about him and his future. And it's going to be really good watching, I think, these next several years to see who emerges as ace material. Holland has that kind of stuff. Darvish came over for the money that it cost him because he has that kind of stuff. How will Neftali Feliz make the adjustment from the bullpen to the starting rotation? Oh, fascinating questions. A lot of fun seeing the answers unfold. Matt Harrison in that equation as well, and we'll see him go tomorrow against San Francisco. 8 o'clock here on TXA 21. Slow chopper, and Kinsler unable to make the clean pick.
That's about the only way Ian could make that play. He had to try to backhand it to get anything on the throw to have a chance to get Hosmer. I'm sure that'll go as an infield hit. Tries to come around it and backhand it and then throw on the run, but just couldn't quite come up with it.
Infield hit it is. Hosmer's 2 for 2. And with one out, brings up Billy Butler, the DH. Butler drove in his 11th run and a grounder to first. Scored the first run, Jason Bourgeois. Butler just 25. He'll turn 26 next month. Out of Orange Park, Florida. Very consistent producer his first 5 seasons. Last year a career high in runs batted in with 95. 21 homers in 09. That was his first full major league year. Career average just under 300 so far.
He's been a 300 hitter after his first year. He had about 275 his first year in the big leagues. But since that time, he has been a 300 hitter. And he's one of those. He's one of those young players. Got to the big leagues quickly. And now with Hosmer emerging at first base, he's a DH. Most kids his age aren't DHs, but on this team, he fits that role perfectly. And he's a good hitter. He's got a good eye at the plate. He's not a guy that strikes out a lot, makes contact. He's got kind of line drive power. He's not an exceptionally fast guy, but he gets a lot of doubles because he drives the ball in the gap so well. Hasn't had a year where he's hit a ton of home runs yet. 19 last year, but he's a good, just a real good hitter.
Well, that first full year, 2009, listen to the company that he kept at the end of that year. 5th player in history, 50 doubles and 20 homers before turning age 24 in a single season.
Pretty impressive.
That one is launched. Way over everything out in left field. Billy Butler puts the Royals back on top with a monster 2-run shot.
I think a lot of times when you see a young player like Butler who hits 50 doubles and 20 home runs, you can see as he matures the possibility that 50 doubles turns into 35 doubles. And 20 home runs turns into 35 home runs. And he's definitely got the power, as witnessed by that blast that went all the way over the berm in left field. Quick bat. He just jumped on that fastball.
Before tonight, Derek Holland had not allowed a homer. In the first, he allowed a 2-run shot to this man, Lorenzo Cain. And now Butler goes deep for 2 more. That group, by the way, 50 doubles, 20 homers in the season before turning 24. Hank Greenberg, A-Rod, Albert Pujols, and Miguel Cabrera. And Billy Butler. 2-0 to Cain. Looked as if Holland had found himself a nice groove. The infield hit by Hosmer, opening the door for the Royal Bats, and back in front now by 2. Derek has not walked a batter at all this spring, so he hasn't had many 3-0 counts. And there is his first walk.
You see right away in this game, when you pitch to this team, you better have pretty good stuff. Because if you make mistakes, they've got a lot of guys in the lineup that can swing the bat.
Michael Young giving him a moment or two to gather his thoughts, settle back, and think about how to approach Yuniesky Betancourt. Still only one out here in the bottom of the third. And with Kane at first pitch misses low. Most of these pitches not missing by a whole lot. It's not like he's all over the strike zone, but they are missing.
I thought that 3-0 pitch was a strike. Looked like it was right at the knees.
Betancourt, his first time up, grounded out to short. He has returned to Kansas City after 1 year with the Brewers. He was the regular shortstop for the National League Central champions last year. Runner was going. Gonzalez just in time to get the out at second. Young with the tag to finish the double play at first. Not quite textbook. The Rangers will take it. 6-4-3. Rangers baseball on TXA 21 is brought to you by Whataburger. Proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. And by Toyota of Dallas, your Toyota connection. Beautiful night. Not much wind at all. And surprise, 82 degrees when we started. 5-3 Kansas City as Jorvi Torrealba leads off the fourth by showing bunt. Torrealba singled in one of the Rangers' 2 second-inning runs, his 5th spring RBI. Alberto Gonzalez next, and Kinsler at the top of the order. Yeah, nothing in 2. Rangers have got the Hochevar for 5 hits, including 2 doubles and a triple, which was very nearly a home run. But the Royal Bats have put together a 3-run first and a 2-run third against Eric Holland. So far, not getting the pitchers matchup we expected. These 2 guys have pitched this spring. They've been dominant. Hochevar about to throw his 55th pitch. He has 31 strikes. And he gets Torrealba reaching for one that looked low and away. fifth strikeout for Luke.
Really good movement on that pitch. It looked like a two-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, and you can see it sink. I think to Torrealba, it looked like a pretty good pitch when it left his hand. It just kind of dived out of the strike zone. Turned out to be a pitch almost in the dirt.
A good curve for a first pitch strike to Gonzalez, who singled his first trip. Alberto with the Padres last year, the Nationals the 2 years before that. Yankees in 07 and 08. 0-2.
Another good sinker. That's the same kind of a pitch that the Rangers are encouraged to see from Yu Darvish. When he throws that two-seam fastball in that same direction, he gets the same kind of movement and same kind of velocity, right around 93 miles an hour. It's been an effective pitch for him during spring training. There's Yu.
Well hit. Right center field. Off the wall. And up onto the berm it goes.
Alberto Gonzalez getting a chance to start a game. Had a base hit. Line drive to right field in the second inning, and then got one up in the air, hit it almost 375 feet to right center field. Kane couldn't run it down. Looked like it bounced on the warning track and right on over the fence. Good swing. Pretty good power right there.
And when he got to second, he knew that the umpires were trying to tell him something. He hoped it was that they're a home run. Yeah, because he stopped and then he headed on toward third base, and then another umpire stepped in and said, no, you had it right the first time, just a double.
He was running hard, and probably the first thing he saw when he looked up was the ball bouncing on the other side of the wall, so he wasn't sure.
Pretty close, but it was a double. Here's Kinsler, who was struck out and fly to right.
At least he found out before he was like rounding third base.
Monitors. Hochevar grinding almost to a halt here with a man on. Up high to even it at a ball and a strike. Each team with 6 hits. Gonzalez in scoring position here. The Rangers have hit .315 as a team with men in scoring position. So they've done well this entire spring. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. Check swing past Hochevar, and Betancourt not able to make the bare hand pick. So Kinsler safe and Gonzalez to third.
Betancourt chose to go with a bare hand. It was still rolling pretty well when it got to him. It looked like he might have had time to catch it in his glove and throw in the same motion. It's a check swing by Ian, gets by Hochevar, who falls off the mound toward first base. I'm not sure Betancourt had to barehand that ball to make the play. He chose to, and it'll go as an infield hit for Ian.
So 1 out, runners on the corners now, and Craig Gentry with an opportunity here. Get the Rangers even closer. He has struck out looking and grounded to short so far tonight. 1 RBI so far in Cactus League play for Craig. Craig batting second tonight If you weren't with us at the outset, Elvis Andrus left after 2 innings. Yesterday, he had tightness in his right hip flexor. He will be evaluated again tomorrow. May go tomorrow night. Would have played if this were a regular season game tonight. So it doesn't sound like anything serious. For precautions, Elvis being held out. So Gentry batting second, and Gonzalez is the shortstop. Shaver came into this his first 4 starts, an ERA of 1.29. So the Rangers giving him as much trouble as any team has this spring. Up the middle off of him, and it turns into the out at second, safe at first. Hosmer's foot comes off the bag and the run scores. It's 5-4.
Well, Craig hit that ball pretty hard. It was a good pitch. It was a sinker down and away. Now, you're going to have a hard time doubling up Gentry at first base, and Betancourt knew that when he came across the bag. But it was a hard hit ball. It was right near second base. Getz fields it and gives a good feed to Betancourt, who comes across the bag, throws on the run, and throws high. And Hosmer, as tall as he is, couldn't keep his foot on the bag.
Just inches into the air, but enough to make it 5-4. RBI on the fielder's choice. Gentry drives in his second run. Scored Gonzalez. And, Michael Young now, who has struck out, doubled and scored. Michael with a run now of 14 consecutive games in which he has reached base either by a hit or a walk. Just misses. Michael scored the tying run in the 3rd inning when Beltre followed his double with one of his own. It made it 3-3. Kansas City got the lead back on the 2-run home run by Butler in the bottom of the 3rd. Runner goes. Throw by Pena is not in time. Stolen base for Craig Gentry.
When Craig goes, he's usually safe.
Last year he was safe every time he went. 18 for 18.
We talked about him earlier in our telecasts. He's one of those guys that can steal a base as a pinch runner late in the game when everybody knows he's going to go. He's got good technique and excellent speed.
First steal this spring for Craig. A foul for 2-1 count now for Young. Tying run in scoring position at 2 outs. Even though the Royals had to know, all likelihood, Gentry was going to go for second, still couldn't stop him. It was not a bad throw by Pena. It was just late, as they all are. 2-2. He held up, and Gentry out at third, trying to move up on the ball in the dirt. And Brian Pena alertly guns him down with the tag by Moustakas. Rangers got a run, though, on 2 base hits. No one left. An absolutely perfect throw ending the Ranger 4. Stadium, where Kansas City jumped off to a 3-0 lead after 1. Rangers tied it at 3. It's now 5-4. And the first 10,000 kids ages 13 and under will take home this white Cruise jersey from Dr. Pepper. Bring your little ones to this jersey May 27th at 2:05 p.m. to see the Rangers take on the Toronto Blue Jays. First pitch ripped by Mike Moustakas right to Michael Young at first base.
A good pitch by Derek right there. He got the fastball in on him. Almost the same pitch that he got Gordon to ground out in the second inning on. Brings that in there and gets Moustakas off the bad part of the bat.
He's had 2 rough innings. In between was the second, when he allowed only an infield single by this man, Brian Pena. Starts in with a strike. He had not given up a home run all spring until tonight. A 2-run shot in the first by Lorenzo Cain, and a 2-run Billy Butler blast in the third.
That's the one he has been getting that call from the home plate umpire, was Jordan Baker. I don't know, about 2 or 3 pitches right there with his fastball that have been ruled to be a little bit low. Borderline pitches, but kind of pitches if you're a pitcher you certainly want to have. There's another one. Might have been a little bit inside.
Eric 2-0 with an ERA of exactly 2 coming into tonight. And now a count of 2-2 for Brian Pena. Pena, born in Havana, Cuba, played on the Cuban national 18 and under team. Grew up with Yunel Escobar, Blue Jays shortstop. Brian defected to Venezuela in 2000. Last year, a career year in most offensive categories. He had 3 homers. And Tom, they were all pretty similar. They were all 3-run homers, and they were all at Rangers ballpark.
That's pretty amazing.
What are those odds?
I couldn't tell you.
Ground ball, and right behind the bag is Gonzalez. Pena's out number 2.
I guess it's kind of long odds that if you hit 3 home runs, all 3 would be 3-run homers. I mean, that's unusual in itself. Then I guess it's unusual if you said, and they're all against the same team.
Yes.
And then if you say they're all in the same ballpark, it gets
impossible.
Really difficult to imagine.
But
if it was against the same pitcher, you'd really have a story. But I don't think that's the case.
But as we so often say, if you hang around this game long enough, you will see just about anything.
Yeah, one thing you should never say in baseball is I've seen everything now. You may see something that you don't remember seeing, but it certainly won't be you've seen everything.
I do remember Chris Getz grounding out to first back in the second. Derek trying for his first.
It's about how far my memory goes back, too.
Derek trying for his first 1, 2, 3 inning. Just a couple of pitches he'd like back. Giving up 6 hits, 3 of them infield hits. But, the 2 that left the yard are the difference. Ahead of Getz, 1 and 2. And Getz stays alive. Something you would really remember would be a Chris Getz home run, because he has not hit one in all 604 at-bats in a Royal uniform. That's the longest home run drought to start a Royals career ever.
Chances are, when he does, it might be an inside the park home run, because he's a line drive hitter with speed. And so if you shot one right down the line and it kicked past the outfielder, you could see that happening.
They may actually stop the game and have a little ceremony for him if he does it at home. Run the ball out to him.
Maybe not on the field, but maybe in the clubhouse after the game there might be something like that.
Raiders this year with 2 career homers in 307 games. Pops this one up. This one will stay in the yard. As it's squeezed by Kinsler, and Derek Holland has his first 1, 2, 3 inning. Inning, Dave Barnett along with Tom Grieve. It's 5-4 Kansas City. The Rangers hoping for their 3rd straight win, because they have yet to string together a 3-game winning streak. Cactus League play this year. They've only beaten one American League foe. They're 1-8-1 against the American Leaguers, 7-8 against the National Leaguers. The next 2 games are against teams from the National. San Francisco tomorrow, 8 o'clock here on TXA 21. Matt Harrison against Matt Cain. Colorado on Friday at 9:10. Also here on TXA 21. And Yu Darvish slated to start that game. Heart of the order. Here in the Ranger 5th. 2-0 to Michael Young, who has struck out, doubled, and scored. Darvish will take no 1-loss record and an ERA of exactly 3 in the game Friday against the Rockies. And Michael Young with his second base hit out to center field.
After the first inning, the Rangers have hit in every inning. They scored in the second, they scored in the third, they scored in the fourth, and they had the leadoff hitter Michael Young on with his second hit of the game. And the big guy's coming up next.
Adrian Beltre doubled his last time up. That was one that brought Michael home back in the third to make it a 3-3 game. Flied to left his first trip. Could be two here. Betancourt to Getz. And in plenty of time on to Hosmer. It goes 6-4-3.
When Hochevar's at the top of his game, he should be able to get a lot of ground balls because he throws a hard sinker. When he keeps it down, you'd have to think he'd get a lot of ground balls. I think watching him, you just have to be impressed with his overall repertoire of pitches. And when you look at his numbers, you just have to figure that he's just not consistent with his command. And when he is, you expect him to have a lot of success. When he becomes consistent over a long period of time, he'll put together a good season for Kansas City.
One and one to Cruz. Well, he grounded his short in the second, and then a scary moment in the third following the doubles by Young and Beltre, and Hochevar came way in on him with a fastball, and it hit it appeared top of his left hand, but after letting the trainer Jamie Reed have a look at it, he stayed in the game, and on he plays. 2 balls and a strike. This was that scary moment.
Boy, that right at his face. Just barely got out of the way of that.
Hochevar working to the opposite side of the strike zone. Now everything away. He missed again. Here's the 3-1 pitch. 3-2. Hochevar struck out the side in the first and has gotten 2 more since then. And he gets Cruz on a big rip and a miss. So after the leadoff single by Young, Hochevar still faces the minimum 3, and we're halfway gone at Surprise Stadium. At Surprise Stadium, Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve, and a 5-4 Kansas City lead as the Royals prepare to bat in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Eric Holland against Luke Hochaver. Royals got to Derek for 3 in the first, 2 more in the third. Rangers got 2 in the second, single runs in the third and fourth innings. And the top of the order for Kansas City here in the fifth, Alex Gordon. The left fielder has grounded out twice. In there, 1 ball and 1 strike. A change this inning for the Rangers out at right field, where Nelson Cruz is replaced by Joey Butler. So Cruz tonight a strikeout, a ground out, and hit by a pitch. Gordon, as we said last year, in his move from third base to the outfield, immediately won a Gold Glove. Led all major league outfielders with 20 assists. Hit .303. That was good for top 10.
Yeah, they've got some guys that can hit doubles too. He had 45 doubles last year. You mentioned Billy Butler one year had 50 doubles. They feel Moustakas will develop into a power hitter with gap power. He'll have a lot of doubles. You have to think if Lorenzo Cain makes a lot of contact, the way he can run, he's a candidate to have a lot of doubles. You know Hosmer's going to drive the ball.
Gordon also gives them the Ian Kinsler factor at the top of their order. He hit 5 leadoff home runs last year. 2-2 pitch. That's fouled off. Things were really down for Gordon. He had a labral tear in his right hip in 2010, sent down to AAA Omaha. That's where he was switched from third to left. And that was not a foul tip. So it is Torrealba hustling back to the screen just in time for the perfect strike. And if Alex Gordon had run all along, instead of trying to hack that one into a foul tip, he no doubt would have beaten that throw.
That was a great throw from Torrealba. Yes, I think Gordon just didn't know that the catcher didn't catch it. When you swing and miss at a high fastball and you hear it hit the catcher's glove, you just assumed that the catcher caught it. And as his follow through happened and he looked behind him, then he saw that the ball got by Torrealba and he ran, and it looked like he was going to have a clear path to first base. I didn't think Torrealba could get the ball by him without hitting him, but he snuck it by him to Michael at first base and nipped him at first base.
Just a perfect throw from Jorvik. Second strikeout for Holland. And now up, no balls and 2 strikes on Jason Bourgeois. Jason, an infield hit, a stolen base, and a run scored in the first. Last time up, he flied to center. That is a fair ball past the diving Beltran into the corner. Bourgeois, great speed, easily makes second base. His second hit of the night, a 1-out double.
Bourgeois stole a base in the first inning, and if you're Derek right now with 1 out and Bourgeois at second base, you have to be careful. You have to keep him close at second base, vary your delivery to the plate, or he'll try to steal third base too. Not as likely to try it with Hosmer up there, though. If you just want to let Hosmer swing the bat right here. But if you let him get a big jump and he knows he can do it, he'll try it. See Gonzalez keeping him close at second base so he can't get a big jump.
That one off the glove of Beltran. And they're waving Bourgeois Hall. Here comes Murphy's throw. Not in time, and down to second goes Hosmer. Another run scores, and it's 6-4 Kansas City.
Hosmer kind of beat that ball right into the ground. It took a big hop. Went off Beltran's glove. Ground is pretty hard there down the third base line. They got to Beltran quickly, and he tried to backhand it. He just couldn't get it in his glove.
So the Royals first baseman 3 for 3. That is his 23rd run batted in. He leads both leagues in spring RBIs. And brings up Butler. An RBI ground out in the first. And a monstrous 2-run homer that sailed over everything, the berm, the fence out in left field. Back in the third inning. Breaking a 3-3 tie. A very short-lived tie, as it turned out. This inning going up over 80 pitches. All you had to do was listen to that, and you had a pretty good idea that it was not going to stay in Surprise Stadium. His 4th home run of the spring, among the league leaders. And he's got 3 RBIs tonight to give him 13. Holland about to throw pitch number 87. Young chases, but the foul pop well back out of play. 2-2.
That ball bounced. I hope that didn't hit somebody.
Looks like they are calling
Yeah,
for
the way people are looking. It looked like it did.
First aid attention down there. Hope everybody's all right. Two-two pitch. Breaking ball hammered. Base hit to left field. And they hold the runner at third. 3 straight hits after the strikeout of Gordon began this bottom of the 5th.
Well, Derek has gotten a couple of pitches up, and they've taken advantage of it. Butler gets a high curveball right here, it looks like, right down the middle of the plate. And that's just a spot that Derek wasn't trying to locate his pitch in. And Butler took advantage of it.
So Mike Maddox makes his trip out to discuss matters, as Lorenzo Cain will be the next Kansas City hitter. 2-run home run in the first inning and a walk in the third. Carlos Pimentel is warming up out of the Rangers bullpen. So Holland up around the 90 pitch mark. Has only had a couple of sharp innings. The second, he allowed only an infield hit to Pena and retired the Royals in order only in the 4th. But 3 straight have reached here, the 5th with 1 out. And a line drive right to Beltre for out number 2.
Oh, pretty nice job of hitting right there by Cain. That fastball looked like it was on the inside half of the plate. He took a good swing at it, hit it right on the button, right at Beltre. Playing off the line, made a nice play.
Pitch was pretty grooved. Derek is lucky. Adrian knows it, that it happened to be right at somebody. It was teed up for Lorenzo Cain. So 2 outs. Runner still on the corners, and here's Betancourt, and he takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Betancourt has twice grounded to short, last time into an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. Little Nubber makes it 0-2. The official word in on Nelson Cruz, and it was the bruised hand that led to his early departure. Listed as day-to-day, hit by a pitch in his second at bat. And this high foul ball slicing into the seats. So it's Joey Butler on right field for Cruz. Betancourt from Santa Clara, Cuba. Played on the Cuban National League Villa Clara team 01 through 03. 2000, he played in the World Championships for the under-18 Cuban national team. He did .523 in the World Championships. Defected to Mexico before signing with Seattle in 2005. The Royals as a free agent, a one-year contract. After 1 year in Milwaukee last year. Did he hold up? He did. It's 2-2.
Good call by the first base umpire.
Derek about to throw his 95th pitch. Runs the count full. So trying to bear down here and leave no worse than the 2-run deficit. With his pitch count up almost to triple digits. 6 runs on 9 hits, no errors for Kansas City. 4 runs on 8 hits and no errors for the Rangers. 3-2 is high for ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
That's another breaking ball that Derek just didn't get down into the strike zone. And I'm sure he's approaching his pitch limit, but I think what Ron Washington wants to do right here is give him an opportunity to pitch out of this bases loaded jam. He's probably a little bit tired right now. He's reached a pitch count that he hasn't reached yet in spring training. But you're going to be in these positions during the regular season when you're tired, when the bullpen's not coming in, and you've got to get a hitter out. And so it's a good opportunity for Derek to pitch through this jam and see if he can't get Moustakas right here to end the inning.
Strikeout in the second, line to first in the fourth. Tip that one foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Holland unable to put away Betancourt after getting 2 strikes on him. See if he has any better luck here against Mike Moustakas. Osmer third, Butler at second, Betancourt at first. And a strikeout on a foul tip to end the bottom of the 5th inning. Royals get another run on 3 base hits. They leave 3 and they lead by 2. Of opening week. It's a 1:05 start on Thursday, April 12th. It is Wildlife Education Day for kids and for mom and dad. One of only 2 weekday afternoon games this spring. Use your vacation day wisely to soak in the spring with the boys of summer. Call 972-RANGERS for tickets or go to TexasRangers.com. Well, the Rangers here in the 6th will face a new pitcher. Jose Bijares takes over for the starter Luke Hochevar. Hochevar tonight 5 innings. He allowed 4 runs on 8 hits. He struck out 6 and walked 1 batter. Just his second walk of 5 spring starts. So Bijares takes over for Napoli, Murphy, and Torrealba here in the top of the 6th. Napoli worked that walk issued by Hochevar, a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs in the second. And, it ignited a 2-run rally. Next time up, he struck out. Bijares, 5'11", 245. 27, native of Caracas, Venezuela. Before now, all his experience had been with the Minnesota Twins. 58 appearances last year. He was 0-2 with an ERA of about 4.6. Some good things happening for him this spring. Napoli looks at strike 2, 2 balls, 2 strikes. All told, with Minnesota, parts of 4 years, 3-6 with a 3.16 earned run average. Royals signed him as a major league free agent back in December. Mike Napoli works his second walk of the game.
12 walks on the spring now for Napoli.
Give him a pitch to hit and he murders it, and you don't, and he will very patiently take a base. He's done that twice tonight.
He only has 26 at-bats. Yet he has 12 walks. That's a lot of walks.
Some ratio.
Barry Bonds kind of walks right there.
Maybe he keeps that one in front of him. David Murphy tripled off the railing in center field. Originally thought it was a home run. Umpires had to confer and finally decide correctly that it was in play, bouncing off the top rail. So he settled for an RBI triple. Scored on the next pitch. Torrealba singled him home. And a little nubber in front of the plate in the third, thrown out by the catcher Pena. Royals pitching coach Dave Island. Bijares has had a tendency to issue bases on balls at an alarming clip. 30 and 49 innings last year. Falls further behind Murphy here. 2 balls and no strikes. For his career, 62 walks and 153 innings. Just on the corner there, 2-1. Through his career, he has been very tough on left-handed hitters. They hit just .212 against him. This left-handed hitter works the count now to 3-1.
spring training is a little different than the season. You like to get your swings in, but at the same time, in this situation, with a pitcher struggling like this, 3-1 count, you really have to say to yourself, I've got to get a good pitch. Otherwise, I'm going to take it, because his chances of throwing 2 straight strikes, at least right now, don't appear to be very good.
Well, he started the inning with a 2-run lead, immediately walks the tying runs aboard.
Not exactly sure what Maharis's role is with the ball club, whether he's got the team made or whether he's pitching to make the team. If he's pitching to make the team, this is not a real good start for him late in spring training.
No, it is not. 8 of his 11 pitches have missed the strike zone so far. Torrealba, RBI singled in the second and struck out to begin the fourth, and showing bunt all the way. Pulls back and takes it high for ball 1. Base coach Dave Anderson hopes he's got some business headed his way. This bunt is going to stay fair as it dies in the grass.
That was a perfect bunt. And you want to bunt it down the third baseline. The third baseman has to stay put, really, in case there's a force out, and then come in late to field it. But if you make him field it, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get the man from second to third anyway. And when you lay down a bunt like that, there's not much a third baseman can do. He probably did the right thing, letting it roll, but it kind of caught the lip, hugged the lip of the grass, and never bounced over into foul territory. It goes as a base hit.
So bases loaded, no one out, and Alberto Gonzalez, who is 2 for 2, singled in the second, doubled and scored in the fourth. Mijares behind everybody here in the sixth. That one hit a long way to left field. Gordon at the wall makes the catch. And Napoli will tag up and score. It's 6-5. It was a foot or so maybe from a grand slam home run for Gonzalez.
What a day that would have been for Gonzalez. He had a double almost to the wall in right center field. He gave that one a pretty good ride. See why Gordon's a Gold Glover out there. He ran it down, doesn't shy away from the wall. Knows right where he is, goes up, braces himself, makes a nice play. Heads up base running by David Murphy, who went to third, where he finds himself now with 1 out and a chance to score on another sacrifice fly.
And here's Ian Kinsler, 1 for 3. Infield hit last time up. He hits it high to left field, not deep. Gordon coming in with a head of steam makes the catch, and way too shallow for Murphy to try and score here. So 2 outs, both squeezed by Gordon. Gonzalez that close to it is next at bat, shooting for a cycle. If that had left the yard, he would have gone single, double, grand slam. And you figure at least one more shot, perhaps at getting a triple to finish off the rarest of rarities. I've never heard of him getting a cycle in spring ball. It probably has happened.
I'm sure it's happened before. But one of the reasons it hasn't happened as many times as it does during the season is for most of spring training, most players don't play long enough to get 4 at-bats anyway. So it's usually only toward the end of spring training, which cuts down the amount of time you'd have to do it in the first place. So I'm sure it's pretty rare.
And in this game, the schedule is for Luis Hernandez at some point to take over short for Gonzalez. Although you'd have to think if it had come to that, Ron Washington probably would have gone with the moment, I think, and let Gonzalez stay in the game.
I don't know about that.
You know, that's something that would be a lifelong story for him to tell.
They did it in spring training?
He's in spring training. He's in a Ranger uniform in spring training.
I think what you'll find is those two kids are battling for the utility role on the team, and Ron's got Hernandez scheduled to play, and I think he'd probably go ahead with it. In fact, I would be willing to bet Wash would have known that anyway.
Just in time, play made by Getz. And what was almost a huge inning, the Rangers settled for one. One base hit, 2 men left in a 1-run game. Baseball on TX 821 is brought to you by Texas Can Academy. Right off the car, not the kids. Texans Can Academy. And by the Really Big Sales Event. Real deals, big inventory now at your Honda dealer. We are joined by Derek Holland, who goes 99 pitches tonight, 5 innings, 6 runs on 9 hits, 3 strikeouts, and a couple of walks. Derek, how would you evaluate your effort tonight?
I thought it was, it's okay. I wouldn't look at the numbers, what happened there. You gave up some big hits, but the main thing is I thought I did a good job of using all my pitches, throwing them all for strike. That was the main thing, is just going out there and throwing strikes. I'm not too worried about the results at the moment. I want to continue to go out there and try to work on my craft and everything. That's the big thing, is just trying to improve every time out.
Derek, even though the numbers don't matter, you finished off with the bases loaded, 2 outs. You probably had one more hitter to face, so I'm sure that's still a good experience to battle through that jam and get that last out like that.
Well, yeah, it's definitely huge to be able to battle that last out. I kind of think that was probably the last batter, to be honest with you, because it was a lefty. We had Pena coming up next, and he's a switch hitter, so he's definitely going to be on the right side. But I made sure to never give in. That's the main thing. Is, like I said, when we're always working, we're always trying to make sure we get the strikeout, go after the guys, don't give in no matter what the result is from the previous pitches. Sorry.
And so, Derek, what will be your game plan between now and your first start?
Now, the big thing is because I got to go a lot longer with the distance-wise, with the innings and everything. So now it's coming into, all right, now get yourself ready for the games as if it's a real deal. You're going the distance. There is no pitch count or anything like that to think about. I mean, I know it's up on the board, but you don't want to think about those things. You got to go out and do your job to pitch.
How would you grade your spring so far?
I thought it was a pretty good spring. I've been throwing all my pitches for strike. I've been working on a lot of things, and I thought my command was very good. I've had very few walks. That's the big thing that I worry about is walking people. You don't want to give anybody free bases. So I thought I did a pretty good job of staying ahead of the hitters and going right after them.
Derek, nowadays with the work that you guys do in the offseason, when you get to spring training, how ready are you to pitch in a game, let's say? Do you need as much spring training to get ready to pitch in a game?
Yeah, because you got to get stretched out. The first time you come out, you're always going 1 inning, and then the next time it's 2 to 3, and then it's 4 to 5, and then now it's 6 to however many, with a certain amount of pitches. So it's good for us to get stretched out. I'm sure that the position guys are ready to go. That's for sure. But I mean, we're definitely ready. It's just about getting stretched out before the season starts.
Ooh. Reaches out, taps one to Beltray, but after looking at second, too late to try for the out at first. Everybody's safe.
I think what Adrian was trying to do, he was trying to catch Pena going around second base. He felt if Pena took a wide turn, he might be able to get the lead runner, but he couldn't quite get Pena, and by the time he threw to first base, Getz with his speed was able to beat it. Derek, I know you guys have to get stretched out, but when you get to spring training, the first couple of days, what kind of shape are you to, say, throw batting practice? Do you have to take, a week or 10 days to work into that, or are you feeling pretty good the minute you get here?
I'm feeling pretty good the minute I get there. I always prepare myself to make sure that I'm ready to go once day one hits. That's the main thing, is you want to show up ready to go. Because the way that you do your things, you want to have your long bullpens to work your way into it, and then obviously you start your shorter bullpens as the spring training starts. So that kind of it's you want to make sure you're ready to go at the beginning. So obviously you're stretching it out, and then once you get here, everything kind of comes back down, so it's easier for you.
Now, you have made Surprise your off-season home, but you're about to be a married man. Are you still going to live out here in the off-season?
No, we are. We are getting back to Dallas. Let me just put it that way. It's a little too old for me out here, if that makes sense.
Know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't want it to sound bad. I'm sorry.
No, that's just.
I like Surprise out here. It's nice. It's very.
Careful, you got a couple of old guys you're talking to right now, Derek.
I was never thinking that. I promise. I thought you guys were a younger crowd.
All right. Well, I appreciate that.
Oh, and
we're showing some pictures on our screen tonight that probably illustrate what you're talking about.
Probably some of your neighbors.
It could be.
You don't play shuffleboard?
No, I've not learned that yet. That's there's that, and I know there's a lot of bingo, so maybe I should get into bingo. You know how that is.
Just hang out with us. We'll teach you all that stuff to you.
You got all the tricks and everything for
bingo? How about, do you bowl?
Not so much. No, I try to stay away from that. I don't want to do anything crazy with the spinning because I can't bowl straight. So everything I do has got to be spun when it comes to bowling. So I try not to bowl too much.
Why is it that left-handed throwers have natural movement and right-handed throwers don't? Have you got a theory?
We're special.
On that?
That's why. We're one of a kind. I mean, that's the main thing, is we are one of a kind.
I realize that, but I'm looking for more of a scientific answer. Have you got any kind of a theory on that?
Like I really don't.
The way the world spins or anything?
It must be. God, I don't know. I mean, I have weird movement today. Like a lot of four-seamers are throwing. We're cutting, sinking. And then when I throw my sinker, it was moving a lot more. So I can't really explain it. I don't know what's going on with that.
The really weird thing is it carries over into other sports. Left-handed passers always have a prettier spiral than right-handed passers.
Believe it. I know that. I've got that touch with the football.
Well, Derek, we appreciate the time here, and you're getting very close to regular season form, it would appear. 99 pitches in 5 innings, and we appreciate the visit, as always.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate for having me on.
Okay, Derek.
Thank you, guys.
This is Bourgeois with Pena at second, Getz at first, and 1 out. And Carlos Pimentel trying to keep this a 1-run game as we play the bottom of the 6th inning.
I was talking to Derek about what kind of shape pitchers are in nowadays when they report to spring training. It's quite a contrast to, say, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. I can remember coming to spring training, and a lot of guys on the team, especially the guys from the north, you didn't work out in the off season. You didn't have a place to work out. And a lot of guys, when we got to spring training and you opened up your baseball equipment bag, took out your glove, it's the first time you had your glove on since the last game of the season. And when you threw, for some people, it's the first time you'd thrown since the end of the season. So it's entirely different now. The guys report to spring training. They can't quite play in a game the day that they get here, but they're a lot closer to it than we were way back in the day when you didn't have the same opportunity to work out. Weight training wasn't a part of the program back then. Teams didn't have off-season facilities for workouts at the stadium, and you just didn't have the opportunity to do that. Now the guys that lived in Florida and California could find places to work out, and a lot of us played winter ball. But if you just went home to the Northeast, for instance, you might be able to take some batting practice off a machine in a high school gym, but that was about it.
But sports was just like that back then. Football players had off-season jobs.
Yeah, exactly. And people still threw touchdown passes. People still hit home runs. People still won 20 games. So it wasn't like it was a noticeable difference in the way the game was played. But I guess it evened out because everybody, for the most part, was in the same boat. Yeah, the way to come back.
Could not resist that breaking ball that almost ended up in the dirt. So after 2 singles to begin the inning, Pimentel leaves 2 and keeps it 6-5. Will be sporting their white home uniforms from 1974 when they take on the Angels May 12th at 12:05. The red, white, and blue colored uniforms from 1974 featured built-in waistbands and blue as the primary trim color. The cap from the 74 uniform was blue with a red trimmed T on top of a red bill, and the first 30,000 fans will get a retro 1970s cap sponsored by Fox Sports Southwest. That is May 12th at noon with the Angels in town. The classic early 70s look for the brand new franchise with the old Western motif in the lettering back then. Lots of anniversary celebrations coming up this year. 40 years it's been the Texas Rangers and not the Washington Senators. Jonathan Broxton, former closer for the Dodgers, comes into work the 7th inning.
Yeah, and he was a good one. He's trying to come back. His fastball was in the upper 90s when he was in his heyday. Big, strong guy. Trying to see if he can't regain the form that he had back then with the Dodgers. Not like it was 100 years ago. Not that long ago.
One to Michael Young. Jonathan Broxton listed at 6'4", 300. Now, if they list him at 300, he may be 310, 315.
Well, he's a big guy. He's big, but he carries it pretty well. Tommy Hunter was a big guy, but he bounced around out there pretty well, carried his weight well.
Broxton's getting up in Mo Vaughn territory.
Yeah, I think Broxton's even bigger than Tommy.
Seems like he's been around forever. He is only 27. Born in Augusta, Georgia. Two-time National League All-Star, 09 and 2010. Call, strike 3. So Michael strikes out for the second time tonight. He's also doubled and singled.
Broxton had some injury problems last year. Elbow problems caused him to miss some time. Saved 36 games with the Dodgers in 2009. That was really the one year that he had that was outstanding. Came back the next year and saved 22 games, but his ERA went up. He had more hits than innings pitched.
First pitch strike to Beltre.
His big year, he had 114 strikeouts in 76 innings. He didn't have a year like that before it or after. But before it, he's always been a strikeout guy in the big leagues. He has 503 strikeouts and 392 innings. He's always been a strikeout guy.
Curve beat into the ground, and Betancourt's throw just in time to nip Adrian Beltre for out number 2. So Adrian 1 for 4. That hit an RBI double back in the 3rd. And now Joey Butler, who took over in right field for Nelson Cruz. Cruz suffering a bruised hand when he was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd from Luke Hochevar.
The Royals closer, Joaquin Soria, is going to miss the season. And so having a guy like Broxton, I'm sure Kansas City's hoping that he can come back and regain the form that he had when he was a Dodger closer, because they need a closer right now.
Yeah, that was a huge blow to the Royals before they even got to camp. They would be without Soria. In the air, Bourgeois can't get to it, and it's off the wall. And it's a 2-out double for Joey Butler, tying run in scoring position.
Well, the last time we saw Joey Butler, he was lining a ball right down the right field line for a triple. He got his right field stroke. That's a nice job of hitting. He waited nicely on that curveball and drove it right down the right field line.
He's not getting that many at bats, but boy, he's taking advantage of him. Butler now 5 for 9.
I don't know that we've seen any player come up from the minor leagues and play in big league games over the last few years more than Joey Butler. It seems like he's in almost every game we do, which speaks highly of him, that they like him to the point where they do that so often.
Well, here's an opportunity for Mike Napoli to tie the game with the base hit. He has walked twice and struck out. He scored after each walk. And a 91-mile-an-hour strike here. Napoli, the first man Mijares faced in the 6th. That leadoff walk followed by a walk to Murphy. And he ended up scoring on a sacrifice fly, a near grand slam home run by Alberto Gonzalez. So the former Dodger working to the former Angel here. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Washington signed to just a 1-year contract as a free agent back in November. Inside for a ball, and it's 2-1. Sizable lead at second base. Two balls and 2 strikes. Good diving action on this pitch. It's about Belkai, ends up almost in the dirt. Full count.
Broxton was a 2-time All-Star. In fact, he got the save in the All-Star game one year.
3-2 pitch, and Napoli lays off ball 4. His third walk of the evening.
That's exactly what he did. That pitch strikes out a lot of right-hand hitters. You got a big, strong guy out there throwing pretty hard. 3-2. You're looking for a fastball. He throws that hard slider down and away. Not that bad a pitch. Tempting. And a lot of right-hand hitters would have offered it that, but Mike, being the disciplined hitter that he is, was able to lay off it. One of the reasons he's become such an outstanding offensive player is the ability to lay off that pitch and take the walk.
It's just not going to help you out.
No.
So here is Murphy. Had a good night. Tying run in scoring position. Go ahead run at first, and that is ripped foul. David in the second. Tripled in a run and scored. And last time up, second batter faced by Jose Mijares in the sixth that he wants.
Come on, buddy.
Ended that inning at third base. Rangers have left 6 men on. They left 2 on in the second, third, and sixth. Trying not to do that here in the seventh. Outside for a ball, 1-1. On deck, Yorvi Torrealba. He's also had a good day. He's had a couple of hits and an RBI. Foul tipped. 1-2. Third and final meeting between these two this spring. The Royals hoping for a 3-game sweep. March 4th, they won 6-1. The next day, they won in walk-off fashion 7-6. And a 1-2 pitch just misses the outside corner. Tom, that couldn't have been an easy one to lay off.
No, that was close. David stands a little ways off the plate, and so he has to guard against that pitch on the outside corner. That one had some movement on it. It looked like it moved off the plate.
Braxton will again come to him at 2-2. Throwing a lot of pitches here in the seventh.
And when David's feeling really good at the plate, when they do throw him out there, he's able to line that ball into left field. He's a good opposite field hitter.
Ochever went 5, 4 runs on 8 hits. Struck out 6, walked 1. Mijares went 1. Allowed a run on 1 hit and walked 2. Murphy reaches, spoils that one. They keep it at 2-2. Jonathan Broxton started the inning, getting Michael Young looking. Beltre grounded to short. Since then, the double by Butler. The walk to Napoli. Another 2-2 pitch. Chopped to first, and Broxton covers the bag in time for the out. So the Rangers threaten, but leave 2. Stretch time here in Surprise. Still 6-5 Kansas City. 6-5 Kansas City. And the third Ranger pitcher of the night comes on. It is the veteran right-hander Mark Lowe. Mark working in his 8th game this spring. No wins or losses. A .514 earned run average. 7 innings. He has allowed 8 hits, including 2 homers. He has walked 3 and struck out 4. And the 5,047 join YMCA stretched down here at Surprise Stadium. Lowe will face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in Ned Yost's lineup, beginning with Billy Butler.
And as you look at the last week of spring training, we've talked about this a lot. One of the open positions is late inning bullpen altogether, I guess, not just late inning. And there appears to be 3 spots open for 5 pitchers. 2 lefties, Michael Kirkman, Robbie Ross, and then 3 right-handers, Uehara, Tadayama, and Lowe. You wouldn't think that 2 lefties would be among the 3. Probably 1, maybe none. At least 2 of those righties, and maybe 3. And Ron Washington says it's coming right down to the wire. They haven't made final decisions yet, so every outing is very important for every pitcher that gets the opportunity.
This one well hit and off the wall in right field. Joey Butler gets it in as Billy Butler has himself a leadoff double.
We talked about Butler. He's knocked in 4 runs today. He's got his average probably over 400 in spring training. Close to a lifetime 300 hitter in the big leagues. He's just a good hitter. And I think the reason he's such a good hitter is he uses the whole field. He can drive a double down the right field line. He can pull one down the left field line. He utilizes the gaps well. And he's got the kind of power where he can hit the ball out of the ballpark too. Just a good line drive hitter with power. And he's been a pretty good hitter right from the start. Got called up and as a real young player held his own, and he's gotten better and better.
He's also a triple away from a cycle as Lorenzo Cain takes outside. Now, Humberto Quintero, former Astros, penciled in to replace Billy Butler as the DH at some point. Does Ned Yost leave Billy Butler in for the triple?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll tell you for a lot of reasons. Number one, it doesn't matter in spring training. But the biggest reason is Butler's only got 3 triples in his life. In the big leagues, his chances of getting a triple aren't that good anyway.
See, it'd be an even better story.
But I'm getting ready to say, but we remember that triple at Fenway Park was very unlikely too.
Benji Molina?
Benji Molina. That was even more unlikely.
That was unlikely, bordering on the impossible.
Yeah, if you were ever going to say, I've seen it all, that might have been the time where you were tempted to say it.
The triple for
Benji
the cycle.
Needed a triple for a cycle. You looked at Fenway Park and said, the only place Benji can hit a ball and get a triple is to that big gap out in right center field where it juts out to about 420 feet. And no sooner did those words come out than he launches one out there. The ball, I don't know who's playing center field, maybe Ellsbury, but the ball went off his glove, rolled into that little crevice out there 420 feet away, and Benji hustled into third with a triple. That was one of the great moments of that season.
Something else I still can't believe I saw it, never expect to see again. April of 2009, when Ian Kinsler completed his cycle with a triple in the 6th inning and got 2 more hits, a 6-hit cycle.
Yeah, no kidding. What a day.
Butler comes on to make the catch for the first out here in the 7th. You go decades and not see a 6-hit game, let alone a cycle for 6 hits.
Yeah.
This is the first out of the 7th. And Yuniesky Betancourt, who was 0 for 2 with a walk.
We've had a lot of chances over the years to see things like that happen. The game in Baltimore when we scored 30 runs. First game of a doubleheader.
Yeah, that's what no one remembers. I don't think that was the first.
Yeah, came back and scored 9 runs in the second game. Felt like it was a pitcher's duel.
What did it end, about 3 in the morning?
I'm not sure. But if you're going to have to stay that long and watch those kind of games, you want to be on the winning side. It must have been a nightmare of a game to broadcast from the Orioles' perspective.
Betancourt lays off, down low, 1-1. Couple of former Seattle Mariners head-to-head here in a 1-run game. Rangers have never led. They were down 3-0 after 1. They did tie it 3-3 going to the bottom of the 3rd, and the Royals got the lead back with 2 more runs. They've gone back and forth since then, but it has been Kansas City on top almost all night long. Trying to add to that lead here, but this pop-up will be handled by Kinsler for out number 2.
You know, the thing about saying things like that, we're talking about crazy things we've seen, as if no other team has experienced the same thing. You could talk to every broadcaster in baseball, can talk about the last few years and their team and what they've seen and come up with their own examples that are just as unique to them. So it's not like the Rangers have any monopoly on these extraordinary things, unusual things we're talking about. They happen all over baseball. In fact, they happen pretty much on a daily basis. All you have to do is read the box scores every day and watch the highlights every night. And chances are you're going to see something unusual on a daily basis.
Therein lies the greatness of the sport.
Sure.
One pitch, all it takes for Mark Lowe to dispose of Moustakas, and he works around the leadoff double by Billy Butler to keep it 6-5. Rangers with MLB.com at bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit TexasRangers.com for details. On to the 8th inning. The 4th pitcher of the night is on for the Kansas City Royals, Jeremy Jeffress. He'll face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the Ranger lineup. Kansas City out hitting the Rangers 12-10. Yorvi Torrealba has 2 of the Rangers' 10 base hits, an RBI single in the 2nd, and a bunt single in the 6th. And in between, he struck out. So Torrealba, followed by the number 9 spot, where Luis Hernandez has come out in the on-deck circle to hit for Alberto Gonzalez. Replace him at short, and then the top of the order. Jonathan Broxton worked the 7th inning, allowed no runs, but he did give up a 2-out double to Joey Butler, then a walk to Mike Napoli before retiring. David Murphy on a ground out to end the threat. Jeffers quickly falling behind Torrealba here, 3-0. A 4-pitch leadoff walk. It's the 5th walk issued by Kansas City pitching tonight. Pinch runner at first is Gilder Rodriguez. And we'll look for Dusty Brown to take over the catching duties. First of all, the bunt in order, and Hernandez fouls it off. So Alberto Gonzalez had himself a good night. A single in the 2nd, doubled and scored in the 4th, and drove in a run on a sacrifice fly, a near grand slam that sent the left fielder Gordon up to the wall back in the 6th inning. Another foot or so on that drive, and we'll be looking at a completely different story here. Oh, there's strike 2, so Hernandez not able to get the bunt down. 2 tries.
Well, as they used to say, it's probably still do, take 2 and hit to right. See if Luis has ever heard that before.
A lot of room out there. They're playing him to go the opposite field.
I guess in his case, it'd be take 2 and hit the left. I think they're generally talking about the opposite field.
Jeremy Jeffers, 24, out of South Boston, Virginia. And he strikes out Hernandez. There's 1 gone in the Ranger 8th.
Jeffers has a really good arm. He throws hard. 93, 94 today, but I've seen him during the season throwing harder than that.
He was part of the Zach Greinke trade.
Yep, talked about him earlier. He's got a good arm. Potential late inning bullpen guy.
Came over with Lorenzo Cain, Alcides Escobar. Pickoff throw gets away, and Rodriguez can keep running. He's at 3rd.
Fan grabbed it,
and he'll have to stay at 3rd.
That would have been interesting if a fan didn't grab that and it stayed right down there in the corner. I don't think he could have scored, but I bet you would have taken a turn anyway.
I think he would have had a shot at it.
He might have.
That would have been some play.
That type of play is up to the umpire. It's his judgment. When the fan reaches over, and you'll see it as the ball goes down the right field line. When a fan reaches over and touches the ball is dead, and the umpires, and then the runner goes to where the umpire judges he would have gone if the fan didn't touch the ball. And the first base umpire motioned immediately that he would go to 3rd base.
This is Matt Cada hitting at the top of the order now for Kinsler. Tying run 90 feet away with 1 out in the 8th. Ian tonight went 1 for 4, an infield hit in the 4th inning. The infield in here. Royals hoping for an atom ball. And, if they need to, they'll be in position to cut down the tying run at the plate. In the air, though, to left field. Is it deep enough? Gordon makes the catch, and hanging on at third, Rodriguez. Not hit very deep at all. And that arm of Gordon, again, led all major league outfielders last year with 20 assists, and half of those were cutting down runs at the plate.
Well, that fly ball, that's a borderline fly ball, and it all depends. Well, it depends on the speed of the runner, but you assume that Rodriguez is running at first base, that he runs pretty well. Depends on the way the outfielder throws. That's a sacrifice fly with a lot of left fielders. And generally, the left fielder has the weaker arm of the three outfielders. In this particular case, you watch Gordon make that throw home, and you can see exactly why Dave held him at third base. That was a strong throw home.
Now Julio Bourbon batting for Craig Gentry. 2 outs. And Rodriguez still at third. Gentry tonight was 0 for 4. Did have an RBI on a fielder's choice and a stolen base. Julio had a notion there. Lays off ball 2. Washington going to his bench here, the 8th. Brad Hawk in the on-deck circle now. He will hit in Michael Young's position as Bourbon takes that strike at the knees, and it's 2-1. Jeffress got into 14 games with Kansas City last year, first year in the organization. Won 1, lost 1, 470 earned run average. Chop to second and gets his throw in time to get Bourbon, and Jeffress works out of that jam. He leaves the tying run at third. Rangers baseball on TX 821 is brought to you by Sonic. It's new, it's better. It's the new Sonic Good. And by Sports City Toyota. Go to sportscitytoyota.com. We'll deliver anywhere in Texas. A statue out there, a young baseball player here at Surprise Stadium. Gorgeous moonscape up above the Valley of the Sun. And lots of folks pose in front of that statue to get their pictures made here. You can be walking out of this stadium. There'll be 30, 40 people in line. There's 2 statues, actually. You can see the other one that gets a lot of attention. So lots of changes as the Royals will bat their 8, 9, and 1 hitters here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Mike Adams chiefly among the changes as he gets into his 6th spring game of the year. Brian Pena showing butt there. Pena is 2 for 3. Infield hit in the 2nd, a ground out in the 4th, and a single in the 6th. Chris Getz on deck. Then the top of the order, Alex Gordon would be due.
The 4 Ranger pitchers in the bullpen who were assured of jobs, pretty obvious. Nathan, Adams, Feldman, and Ogando. Feldman and Ogando, assuming everything goes normally as planned, won't be in the rotation. They will settle into a bullpen role. The other 3 jobs have yet to be determined. The other thing that hasn't been defined for sure yet is the exact rotation. You know, Kobe Lewis is starting, and Derek Holland evidently is pitching the 2nd game. But Ron Washington, I don't believe, has said yet whether Matt Harrison will pitch the 3rd game or whether Yu Darvish will pitch the 3rd game. I think that's a little bit up in the air right now. And still waiting to hear on the utility infield.
New second baseman is Matt Cada, who hit for Ian Kinsler. And he throws out Pena. Rest of the changes. Brad Hopp at first for Michael Young. Luis Hernandez stays in the game after hitting for Alberto Gonzalez and plays short. And Hervé Solarte is at 3rd, replacing Beltre. Brandon Snyder in left for Murphy. Borbone hit for Gentry and stays in center. Dusty Brown now behind the plate. And here is Chris Getz. An infield hit in 3 trips. Derek Holland threw 99 pitches in 5 innings, 6 runs on 9 base hits. He struck out 3 and walked 2. Carlos Pimentel, a scoreless 6th. A couple of hits, but a couple of strikeouts. Mark Lowe worked around a leadoff double in the 7th.
Changeup right there, it looked like. Changeup or a slider. Mike has said he wants to work on the changeup and have another pitch to throw. That looked like a changeup, and a good one.
So ahead of the number 9 hitting second baseman Getz 0-2. Looking ahead to the Ranger ninth, the 3, 4, and 5 spots would be Hopp, Solarte, and Butler. The right-hander throwing at the bullpen, which I believe is Kelvin Herrera for Kansas City. Pop chased toward and over the third base Royals dugout. So still 1-2. Dusty Brown now the Ranger catcher. Play as well. Based on the spring records, if you stack everybody up in the regular season divisions, Kansas City would be 2nd in the American League Central, trailing the Tigers by 3.5. Detroit is 15-5. If they hang on, Kansas City would improve tonight to 15-11.
It's going to be tough to beat Detroit, but if they get some pretty good pitching, they should have a shot to come in 2nd place. at least give a run at it.
Yeah, because the competition there, Minnesota Twins coming off a terrible year. White Sox have lost a lot of key pieces, beginning with their manager.
Cleveland's kind of you don't know exactly what Cleveland is going to be. They've got potential. But I don't know that any team has more potential than Kansas City. Not necessarily right now, but in the years to come in that division.
Center field, Bourbon has it played perfectly. Texas takes on San Francisco and San Diego during interleague play in June. What better reason for a road trip to California? Join other Rangers fans for a Rangers destinations trip, including hotel accommodations, game tickets, a VIP ballpark tour, and the chance to meet a current Rangers player. Get details at texasrangers.com/destinations. Those will be two great trips. And Alex Gordon, 0 for 4, is grounded out. Twice struck out and fly to right. Started the day hitting .426. It's the third best batting average in all of spring baseball. Diving stop, Kata throws with a great stretch by Hawk to get him at first.
What a play. He had to go a long way and get rid of it quickly, and he did it.
Sensational on both ends. Kata and Hawk to finish a 1-2-3 Royal 8. On to work the ninth inning, try and nail down a save and a 6-5 win for the Kansas City Royals. This definitely worth another look.
Yeah, that has a chance to be the #1 play on the highlight shows tonight. Your candidate for sure. That's a beautiful play.
On both ends of it. Great stretch by Hop. So on to the ninth inning we go. And you see the numbers for Herrera. Just a 188 opponent batting average. And after that terrific stretch at first, Brad Hop first up here in the Ranger ninth. Michael Young was 2 for 4, 2 strikeouts, a double, a single, and a run scored. Herrera throwing to a new catcher. Max Ramirez has replaced Pena behind the plate. A number of other changes. Well hit left field. And off the wall it goes. A leadoff double for Hawk.
Just needed to get that one up a little bit. He would have had a home run. Hit a line shot right over the new left fielder, Yem Pratis. We have a pinch runner out there for Brad after that. Nice job of hitting right there. He got a pitch out over the plate. Didn't try to pull it. He went with it. And drove it with authority right over the left fielder's head.
Richmond is the pinch runner. And that one goes off the glove. And holding on now, taking too big a turn at first. Solarte is thrown out. He had himself a hit and got a little bit greedy, and there is the first out of the 9th inning.
I think Solarte thought the runner might try to score and the throw might come home and be able to sneak into second base. But with nobody out, the Rangers chose not to try that. Shortstop can't catch it. It rolls away. Solarte's thinking throw home. I'm going to second, but unfortunately that throw never went home.
Shortstop now is Christian Colon. So the infield in now with one out. And that one gets away from the new catcher Ramirez, and coming in to score the tying run is Richmond. And it's 6-6. So Hoff starts the inning with a double. Richmond comes waltzing in on this delivery by Herrera. That's got to be a pass ball. That simply was a little higher than the catcher Ramirez expected it to be, but extremely catchable. And that one is a fair ball down the right field line. Butler digging for two, and he is in there safe.
Butler's got his right field stroke down. Yesterday's game, he shot a triple down the right field line. In this game, he had a double the first time up, and now another double in his second time up. So in his last 3 at-bats, he has 2 doubles and a triple. All of them hit right down the right field line.
Terry Evans is playing right field, replacing Bourgeois. Got to it as quickly as he could. So, after his second double, Butler at second. And this is Luis Martinez. He is batting in the DH spot, where Mike Napoli walked 3 times, struck out once, and scored twice. Six to 6. Two doubles, a ground out, and a passed ball with Kelvin Herrera coming in to get the 3 outs and close down a victory. Now he's just trying to keep this a tie game and get it to the bottom of the 9th.
Some spring training games do end in ties. Looks like there's still guys out in the bullpen, so this might go at least 1 extra.
Christian Colon. And there's out number 2.
Unless Snyder drops a single in to win it right here.
A lot of games you'll see declared a tie after 10 innings. We'll go 1 extra and call it a night. Brandon Snyder now to bat. He has replaced David Murphy in left field. And he has had a very solid spring. Murphy tonight went 1 for 3 with a walk, an RBI triple, and a run scored in the Rangers' 2-run second. Rangers trail 3-0 after 1, tied it at 3. Royals got 2 in the 3rd to lead 5-3. The first time it's been tied since then, as the Rangers left 2 men on in the 6th and the 7th, left a man at 3rd in the 8th. Finally get a run home here in the top half of the ninth inning. Put together by a number of guys who probably will at least begin the season in the minors. Big rip by Snyder, and it's 1-2. Missed that one by much. Almost centered it up. One-two pitch fouled off. That circle is Dusty Brown. Love to get into that here in the ninth. So the Rangers are now out hitting the Royals 13-12. Kansas City made the game's only error on an errant pickoff throw by Jeffress in the 8th. The Rangers manage a tie. And we head to the bottom of the ninth. The 2, 3, and 4 spots are due up for Kansas City. Rangers baseball on TXA 21 is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By TXU Energy, the right things right now. Call 866-CALL-TXU today. And by InsuranceDepot.com. Get a car insurance quote in 5 seconds at InsuranceDepot.com.
Hey, when I was talking about extra innings, I was thinking the Rangers were the home team. Used to seeing the Rangers in this park as the home team. We're the visiting team, so there's still a bottom of the ninth to be played before we talk about extra innings. Sorry about that.
And on to try and get the game into extra innings, right-hander Derek Hankins, 5th Ranger pitcher of the night. And, Rangers have gotten some good relief work from first Carlos Pimentel, who worked around singles to the 2 batters he began the 6th against. He struck out the last 2, didn't give up a run. Mark Lowe worked around a leadoff double in the 7th, didn't give up a run. And Mike Adams worked a 1-2-3-8. Now to the 9th, and Terry Evans takes a strike at the knees. Evans replaced Jason Bourgeois in right field. Bourgeois had himself a good night. 2 for 4, a double, stolen base, and scored twice. And here is strike 2 to Evans. Foul tip, and Dusty Brown hangs on for out number 1.
Good assortment of breaking pitches right there by Derek Hankins. Good hard slider, or a cutter maybe, right on the outside corner.
Some defensive changes here in the inning. Brandon Snyder has moved from left field to first base. Richmond stays in the game in left field, and that one is headed to the corner, and headed to second base is Jamie Romack, and the Royals have the winning run in scoring position with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Fastball away. Nice job by Romack. Just what you should do with that pitch. Don't try to pull it, go the other way with it. And he hit it with some authority down the right field line. Hankins having to pitch out of a 1-out man on second jam right here. Some new players in the lineup. Quintero's the batter now.
Humberto Quintero, the former Astro, for Billy Butler, who had himself a night as the DH. Butler had an RBI ground out in the first, a 2-run homer in the third, a single in the fifth, and a double in the seventh. Chopper to the right side. Cada for out number 2 to Brandon Snyder. 2 outs, winning run at third base. And Mitch Meyer will be the batter. Meyer taking over center field for Lorenzo Cain, who had a 2-run homer and a walk in a 1-for-3 night. And they will walk Meyer, who was a frontliner for the Royals last year. Everybody else here has been a minor leaguer to this point. So Ron Washington deciding not to pitch to Meyer. Christian Colon is on deck. Ball 3 and ball 4. So 2 outs and runners on the corners. The only one that means anything, of course, is Romack at third. And it is up to Christian Colon now to try and win it in regulation. He bats here for Betancourt, who twice grounded out, walked, and popped up. First pitch, breaking ball low, and with defensive indifference, taking second base is Meyer. In the air, in his tracks is Bourbon. So Hankins does the job. He leads the winning run at third base. Extra innings at Surprise Stadium tonight. We're tied at 6. extra innings here in Surprise, Arizona. 6-6 tie. 13 hits apiece. And pitcher number 6 has come on in the person of Michael Marriott. Marriott will deal with the 8, 9, and 1 spots in the Rangers batting order. Dusty Brown, Luis Hernandez, and Matt Queta. So the Rangers in the 9th managed a tie as Kelvin Herrera took the mound with a 6-5 lead. Gave up a leadoff double to Brad Hobb. 1 out later, an RBI double by Joey Butler. And Butler, representing the go-ahead run at second, had to stay there on a ground out by Martinez and a strikeout by Snyder. So here is Brown, who took over behind the plate for Torrealba. Wonder how you get a spring record like the Rangers 8-16-1. This is how you play 1 extra inning. This will be the only extra inning. Shot foul, 2 balls and a strike. Luke Ochever, the starter. It seems like he's been gone for hours. He went 5 innings, 4 runs on 8 hits, struck out 6, and walked 1. And of the relievers, only Mijares and Herrera have been scored on. 1 run apiece in their innings. High fly ball to Terry Evans in the corner in right field for the first out. Luis Hernandez now in the number 9 spot, where Alberto Gonzalez had himself an excellent night. He singled in the 2nd, doubled and scored in the 4th. Drove in a run against Mijares in the 6th with a sacrifice fly. So Gonzalez 2 for 2, a run and an RBI. Hernandez strike out against Jeremy Jeffress in the 8th after a leadoff walk to Brown, and he slugs that one into right field, a base hit.
Well, that's the epitome of a high hanging changeup and a good pitch to hit. Hernandez had a great swing at it. I bet he did get up in the air a little bit, would have hit it right in the Ranger bullpen. Trying to keep it down and away, it's up and in. Ripped into right field for a base hit.
Rangers have the go-ahead run on. And the top of the order in Matt Queta. Queta flied to left at his first at bat. In the 8th, he drives this one into the gap. Diving attempt by Evans. He can't get there. Around third, headed home. And scoring to give the Rangers their first lead of the night is Hernandez on a triple by Matt Queta. It's 7-6.
Well, Matt's making the most of his time in this game. He had a beautiful play, a diving play up the middle. And now he's got a triple to give the Rangers the lead. Nice try by Evans in right field. He laid out to try to make this play. Couldn't quite get there. But he gave it everything he had to try to get there.
So 7-6 Rangers. A 1-out single by Hernandez and tripled home by Queta. Showing bunt on a squeeze play is Bourbon, and he fouls it back. They're now calling that a double, an RBI, and an E8.
Oh, yeah, the center fielder bobbled it coming up off the wall. Might have been able to make a play at the plate.
So the RBI double and an error on Mitch Meyer.
Nick around Washington right there is making sure all the extra guys know the signs. He put the squeeze on late in the game like that. Try to sneak in another run. That was more, I think that more than the situation of the game, that was for Bourbon. Because if Bourbon makes the team, that's what he needs to do. He has to be able to get a bunt down. He may bat in a situation late in a ball game with a chance to win a game with a squeeze play. And so you have to practice it. Get used to it. Try it again.
Lays it down, and it's fouled off.
Two opportunities to lay a bunt down and get a run in. And, you know, Ron's not trying to get an insurance run in a spring training game that's meaningless. He's trying to get some practice for Bourbon to get a squeeze bunt down. He had 2 pitches to bunt, and he missed both of them.
So, 1-2 count. Maybe swings away, tries to punch one through the drawn-in infield here. Takes the breaking ball away, and it's 2-2. In the bottom of the 10th for Kansas City, the bottom third of their order is due up. Cut and a miss to retire Bourbon. There is out number 2. So Julio not able to get the job done with the squeeze, not once but twice.
That's the case of a manager giving a player trying to make the team an opportunity to do something that he's going to need to do during the season. And Julio missed 2 attempts at that squeeze play and then didn't make contact with a man on third base and less than 2 outs. So, you know, Julio's up there doing everything he can to be successful, but that just wasn't a very good at bat.
This is Josh Richmond batting for the first time. He came on to run for Brad Hopp after his leadoff double in the 9th, and he scored the tying run. Couldn't hold up. It's 0-2. Richmond scoring on a pass ball. Class A just a year ago. Off the breaking ball. And Harvey Solarte on deck circle. So wash over for a brief word with Julio. Clearly not happy he couldn't get the bunt down, but even less happy was Julio himself.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough situation. The manager's, you know, he's trying to get the most out of his players. He wants them to be successful. Rangers would love for Julio to take charge and earn a lot of playing time out in center field. They want him to succeed. Julio's up there trying to do everything. Not trying to miss those points. He's not trying to strike out. He's up there bearing down, trying to get the job done. Just didn't happen for him in that at bat. I just wanted to have a little chat with him.
Three-two pitch, almost hit him. Way high and tight. So Richmond at first, and the really bad 10th inning for Michael Marriott continues. And he will face Solarte now. With runners on the corners, a run in and 2 outs. There's a strike. Rangers trailed this game 6-4 going into the 6th. They got a run there. 6-5. Tied it with the run in the 9th. Their first and only lead here in the top of the 10th. And, smothered by Ramirez. the dirt again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joey Butler on deck if Solarte keeps the inning going. Butler has 2 doubles since replacing Nelly Cruz in right field. Rangers, if they hang on, will have their first 3-game winning streak this spring. And only their 2nd win over an American League opponent. They're 1-8-1. 7-8 against the National League. Go figure that. Solarte fights off another one, keeps 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it would be a little bit of turnabout fair play because 4 of the Rangers' 16 losses have come in games they led in the 9th inning. 3 of those losses were walk-off affairs. Tonight it is the Rangers fighting from behind late. Marriott strikes out 2, but he gives up a run on 2 base hits and an error. He leaves 2. Rangers 3 outs away from an extra inning win. On to try and finish off a come-from-behind extra inning win for the Rangers. He is the 6th pitcher of the night for Ron Washington. 6'3", 225-year-old from Sagamore Hills, Ohio, and a 32nd round draft pick out of Indiana University, 2008.
Well, every game in spring training, managers bring some extra guys. JICs, the just-in-case crew. Tyler's one of those guys. When the game starts, he's probably figuring he's not going to get a chance to pitch. But as the game progressed and it went into extra innings, he's got a great chance to come in and get a save in a 1-run game now. Get a chance to pitch in a big league ballpark in a big league spring training game. That's a nice opportunity and a good throw for him.
Tyler, each of the last 2 years has gotten as high as AA Frisco. Last year pitched very well there, 4-1, a 323 earned run average. Struck out 46 and 55 2/3. And ready to go to work now in the bottom of the 10th. And no play on the bunt. So 1 pitch, and immediately the Royals have the tying run aboard. This is Saratelli laying down the bunt.
Well, he had a chance with the third baseman back just a little bit. That's probably his game. And Tufts slipped as he tried to field it, but chances are Ceratelli was going to beat it out anyway.
Anthony Ceratelli. Both managers are about as deep as they can go on their benches. So here's Max Ramirez. Brian Pena, while he was catching, went 2 for 4. Royals just in general having an outstanding spring offensively. 2 of the top 3 individual batting averages in spring ball. High pop up here. Kata drifting back. He wants it and puts away out number 1. Ray Navarro now will bat, replacing Chris Getz in the number 9 spot at second base. Getz went 1 for 4. And here is Navarro. Rangers at double play depth, hoping for a ground ball to put this thing in the win column. Ceratelli, the runner at first. Runner goes, so no double play. The second out as Hernandez throws out Navarro at first. Medios starting the runner, ensuring that if there was an out on that, there would only be 1 out, and that's exactly what happened.
That might have been a tough out to get.
Yeah.
If the shortstop and the second baseman weren't converging on the bag. It looked like it was hit pretty much over the bag. You can see the shortstop going to cover second, and that allowed him to get to it. It was a high chopper. I think Matt Kata could have had it as well.
So in the hands now of Yem Pradas, who took over for Alex Gordon in left field. Strike 1 from Tufts. Yem, Y-E-M, Pradas, P-R-A-D-E-S. Ceratelli with his lead off second base with 2 outs.
That imposing figure right behind home plate, that would be T.R. Sullivan. Arms folded, ready to converge on Ron Washington for the post-game interview.
And TR in the orange shirt back there. Kevin Sherrington. Richard Dirt also back there. The scribes ready to jump into action.
Great John Blake has appeared. Oh, and holy cow, they're all vying for TV time now. Evan Grant's moved in with Kevin Sherrington. Jeff Wilson, he's got a seat. The tradition in spring training after the game, the manager meets the press on the field. That's why they're all down there. The game's over, right in the on-deck circle. Walsh will have his little post-game question and answer.
Pradas down to his last strike now. It is 2-2. Tyler Tufts a pitch away from save. As the 6th Ranger pitcher of the night. Rangers tied it with 1 in the 9th. Took the lead with 1 in the 10th. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the Rangers take this one in 10, 7-6. They were down 3-0 after one and fought from behind all night long. And about 3.5 hours later, they have a victory. And for the first time in the spring, they have strung together 3 consecutive wins. They dropped the Royals to 14-12 as the Rangers improved to 9-16 with 1 tie. This is one where just about the entire roster was needed. And as a group, they pulled it off. So for Tom Grieve and our entire crew, this is Dave Barnett saying good night from Surprise, Arizona. Join us tomorrow at 8. Here again on TX 821 in Dallas when the Rangers meet the San Francisco Giants at Surprise Stadium. Tonight's game was produced and directed by Kurt Dykert. Our associate producer is Eric Josephson. Thanks for watching Texas Rangers baseball on TX 821.